Good morning, everybody. Shefa Brucha V'Atzlucha. We are in parashat Ki Tetze. The first thing is to understand and realize we are in a very interesting, unbelievable time. Chodesh Elul, Chodesh Haslicha v'Rachamim. Kadosh Baruch Hu is here with us, and more than ever, He's showing us His mercy, His love, and He's prepared to take each one of us back to His embrace. We just have to show Him that we're going in the right direction. But we have to do an action. Ki Tetze lemilchama. You have to go out of ourselves for the war. What? Which war? Al oivecha. Which enemy have we got? The worst enemy of all is Yetzer Hara, the bad inclination. And this is the biggest war we have in this life. But now we can do it. Just get out and do the war, go to a fight, do the first step, ונתנו השם אלוקיך בידיך, and God will give him in your hands, the Yetzer Hara. But I wanted today to talk about something very interesting, very puzzling, with a lot of, let's say, insight inside. And we're talking about Ben Sorer Umore. The Torah is telling us, כי יהיה לאיש בן צורר ומורה, איננו שומע בקול אביו. What is בן צורר ומורה? Is a kid that doesn't listen to his father and mother. ויסרו אותו ולא ישמע להם, and they punish him, and still he doesn't help. So they take him, אביו ואמו, והוציאו אותו אל זקני עירו, and take him out to the eldest and to the gate of his place of town, and אמרו אל זקני עירו, and tell to the eldest of town, בנינו זה סורר ומורה. This child, this son of us is סורר ומורה. Doesn't listen to us. זולל וסובה. Eats and drinks. ורגמו כל אנשי עירו באבנים. And all the people of town are going to throw stones on him and kill him. הוא מת. וביערת הרע מגרבך. וכל ישראל ישמו ויראו. This is a very interesting point. First of all, why do we kill him? Because he didn't listen to his parents and he ate and drank? So what? If we will kill each one of the children that doesn't listen to his parents, I don't want to say what we have to do. And what did he do? He drank, okay, drank a little too much, he ate too much, so what? He drank wine, whatever. And the question is even harder when we go back in history, when we go to Avraham Avinu and Sarah and Agar and Ishmael. Ishmael is not behaving very well. Sarah comes to Avraham and tells him, send them away. Hagar and this child is going to ruin our child, our son Yitzchak. And Avraham Avinu sends them away. In the middle of the way, they finish the water. Ishmael is ill, no water, he's going to die. So his mother puts him on a side and she prays to God, and the child also cries to God, and God reveals to them a whale so they can drink and saves the life of Ishmael. The angels ask, how is it? How can you save this guy from dying in thirst with no water, when his children in a few generations are going to starve, not to starve, to starve, it's a starve, they're going to kill your people with not giving them water. And we're not going to go to this episode. It's when they came and they were giving them things to eat, were very sharp, and then they showed them vessels of water, but there was no water in, and when they put in, the air came in and they died, etc., etc. But that's not the point. The point is the water that God is saving this Ishmael, the same water was prevented from his children later on in history. So the angels are, how can you save him with the same thing that he kills your children? Am Israel. So God says, what is he now? Now is it sudden? He doesn't deserve to die now. So I'm going to save him. I don't care what's going to happen later on. And what is the Torah telling us here with Ben Sower where it is being killed? The Torah says, Yamut zakai ve'al yamut chayav. Says Rashi. Ben Sorer ומורה נהרג על שם סופו. They killed this child because of what's going to happen to him in the future. הגיעה התורה לסוף דעתו. The Torah understood what's going to happen. סוף שמחלה ממון אביו, he will finish the money, all the money of his father, and he's going to ask what he wants, but he's not going to get it. So what's going to be? It's going to stand on the road and steal and kill and rob. And the end is not going to be good. So what is the Torah telling us? Better off to kill him now and save his olam haba. Kill him as a tzaddik that is not going to be a Russia, and then you cannot save him anymore. He's going to lose everything. He's going to lose olam haba. What's going on here? With Ishmael, the Torah tells us that he was saved because now he's a tzaddik and we don't care what's going to happen in the future. And here he's being killed because of the future. Nevertheless, what's with tshuva? Ishmael did tshuva. So it was very right to save him. He did tshuva at the end of the days. So what's going on here? Here we have habit and nature. And it's a big, big issue. Let's go also to a few other figures. Moshe Rabbeinu and Bilam HaRasha. Both of them get the same potential. Moshe Rabbeinu takes it and elevates himself to heaven, and Bilam HaRasha takes it and down to hell. The same thing. The same potential. And nevertheless, Bilam HaRasha thinks that he deserves to die like Am Yisrael. He deserves olam haba. Tamut nafshi mot yesharim tiyah hariti kamo. Unbelievable. Then also Shimon and Levi. They both are being blessed. Blessed. We know Klei Hamas b'chorotehem is them. You are hasty. You do things that you don't think a lot, and we explain that's a blessing, because the real blessing is to know what are your tools, how you're going to change yourself for the better. So if they tell in life we look for what is the problem, where can we fix, what is our job in this life, and no, sometimes very difficult to find. And here the father tells his son exactly what the problem is. You are hasty. You are zeal. You are so we see what's happening. Levi takes it to the highest place, highest level that can be. And Shimon, not exactly. We have Zimri and Salu, what he did with the Midianite. And then, one of the very interesting story in the Bible, David HaMelech. Mashiach Hashem. David HaMelech, in his beginning, the beginning of life was considered as a mamzer. But before we get to it, we want to concentrate on the episode when Shmuel Navi is getting an order from God to go and crown the next king. He says, you go to Yishai, Bet Alachmi, and there Yishai, one of his children, is the Mashiach, is the Melech, is the king. So he goes there, he sees, and Yishai brings all his children, all his sons, and he looks, wow, the oldest, he looks unbelievable. He is very suitable for a king. Shmuel is called Shmuel HaRoeh. The Shmuel the sees, is called the sight. He sees people, looks them in their eyes, and he knows exactly what they are. So he's suitable. But God tells him, no, that's not him. Okay, they go to the next one. No. So Shmuel Navi says to Yishai, sorry, what's going on here? He says, that's all my children, that's my sons. I've got no more sons. He says, if God sent me here to crown one of your sons as a king, and nobody here is suitable for the job, so there must be another son. Suddenly, he realizes that the son that he threw out in the fields, far away from home, thinking that there is a mamzer, he is really his son. What was the story? So we do it very shortly. Yishai comes from Ruth Moaviyah, Ruth the Moabite, and like it's written in our parsha, Ammoni u'Moavi lo yarobu b'kol Hashem. Ammoni, Ammonite, and Moabite, they cannot come in Am Yisrael. And Ruth was a Moabite. So how did Ruth become Jewish? How did she convert? She said it's not allowed. So they had a whole discussion, and they decided Ammoni velo Ammonit, Moavi velo Ammonit. Only the males are the ones that are not allowed to come in the congregation of Am Yisrael, but the women, yes. And we're not going to go to all the reasons, but that's not the point now. It's also part of the parsha, but we're going to talk about something else. Okay. But not everybody agrees with this halacha. But Boaz, he marries Ruth, and from this comes Melech HaMashiach. But now Yishai, in the middle of all of this, is thinking, my grandfather married a Moabite, female, male, but maybe those who say that it's wrong and she shouldn't be a part of Am Yisrael, maybe they're right. So all my children are really no good because I'm a mamzer. So there is a system that when you have a slave girl in a Jewish home, first of all, she has to convert to become Jewish, Litgayer, and she has to do all the laws. And when you marry her and you release her, she is 100% Jewish, and all the children she's got are going to be Jewish. I'm not going to go into all the discussions, very interesting discussion, but the fact is that what he did is he sent his wife away, maybe even divorced her, and maybe not, who knows. And anyway, he takes the slave girl of his wife to become his wife, and he's going to be with her, and the child that is going to get born is going to be 100% Jewish. What he didn't know, that the slave girl, the Shifcha, went to Nitzevet Bat Adiel, which is the name of his wife, the mother of David HaMelech, and she tells her the story. Look what your father was. He was. I don't. He said, "Don't worry, everything is okay. You go in. But when turn off the lights, you go out from the other side. I am going to be under the bed, and I'm going to go into bed instead of you." And that's what happened. Now, what's happening is 3 months, and the slave girl, the Shifcha, nothing happening. She's not pregnant. Okay, can happen. But somebody tells him, your wife, she is pregnant. He is sure. What's going on here? Impossible. So he's not going to kill the child, of course, but he sent them both away, far away. And that's why David HaMelech is in the field. He's a shepherd. While all the other brothers are at home, he is far away, and there he's writing the part of Sefer Tehillim. And everybody thinks that this David is a mamzer. And everything that happens in town, who is to blame? David. He is like the rubbish of the society. He is far away. He is really humiliated at the lowest level you can. And also, of course, his mother. And with all of this, David HaMelech is writing rhymes. He's writing Sefer Tehillim. Unbelievable. And now, suddenly, he realizes, if Shmuel HaNavi came here, he comes here and he tells me one of your children, one of your sons is the next king. And those who are standing here are not. Wow, now I understand. Why didn't Shifcha, the slave girl, become pregnant? Because she wasn't with me at all. And why did my wife, the same, like if I do the calculation, she was with me the same night. And then 3 months later, you saw the tummy. Oh, so stupid. I mean, they quickly called David to come in. And David comes. And his wife is happy. Baruch Hashem. Says, Even ma'asu abonim hayta lerosh pina, we say in Hallel. The stone that everybody was like disputing, everybody was throwing in the... This stone is going to be the head of everything. This is David HaMelech. And David comes in, and Shmuel HaNavi is sitting, and he's looking, and he sees this red-haired boy coming in, and he reminds him exactly, Esau is also red-headed, and the same luck they have, Ma'adim, Mars, red, black, red, that means blood. So he sits down. This cannot be the Mashiach. This cannot be the Melech, the next king. And God tells him, get up! My Mashiach, my king is coming in and you're sitting, crown him! And then he tells him, they call him Shmuel HaRoeh, Shmuel that sees, yes? He says, a man can see with the eyes, but God knows what's inside. He says, yes, you're right. They are both Esau and David, the same nature. They have the same nature, which is problematic if you take it in the wrong way. But if you take it to the right way, which is David HaMelech, he is not killing like from no reason. He's not a murderer. He is killing only for the order of the Sanhedrin. He's killing what God orders him to do, to kill. And till today, we know that those are in this mazal, that they have the mazal ma'adim, the lack of ma'adim of Mars. What do we do with them? What do we do with them? They are the mo'alim and the shochtim. Which is a mo'el. Mo'el is one of the highest level of a Jew. In other words, what we're trying to say here is nature comes from God, and from God nothing wrongs comes out. So you can always use the nature, even if it looks like a bad nature, to do the good in the eyes of God, which is a big lesson for us. That's my nature, no excuse. And we see Ishmael is written Pere Adam. He was a Pere Adam, a villain, a poshea, a Pere. And he does tshuva because of the good education of Avraham Avinu. So, of course you have to save it, because nature is something that you can use always on the good side. But Ben Sorer Moreh, that's a habit. That's what you do to yourself. And habits, they are sometimes worse than nature. They say habit becomes nature. But the real thing is, if you think about it, if you get used to something that you made, you are so in it that it's almost impossible to change your ways. That's why the Torah, Yarda lesof da'ato shel adam, Torah says, if he's going in this way, from his behavior, from his free will, he is choosing the wrong way, he's going on this way, in the worst way you can, better off take him now than leave him alive, and he's going to lose his olam haba. He's going to sin in the worst method that can be. He's going to be a murderer. So we said, what's going on here? And by the way, it's connected to a very interesting point. They say, Ben Sorer Moreh lo haya velo nivra. It never happened. And you know why didn't it never happen? Because if you look at the laws, when you become Ben Sorer Moreh, it's almost impossible. First of all, it's a very limited time. I think it's half a year or something. Then he has to not listen to his father and to his mother. And no more and more things, details, that only if all those details happen, he can be killed. As somebody told me on Shabbos, you know what, at this certain period of time, we close him in a room, so we've got no problem. And that's exactly the point. Because if the Torah from one side say, our sages say, it never happened. There is also one idea that it did happen, but we're not going to go into the majority of our sages say it never happened, so why do we got it? Drosh al menat lekabel sachar. Learn and you get rewarded. What? We have so many things that we can learn. We have to learn this, something that's not going to happen, didn't happen, not going to happen. There are a lot of other things that we can learn that do happen every day. But that's exactly the point. This is something very important to learn here. A big lesson. And the lesson is that we have to understand. Habit is the most dangerous thing that can happen to us. A wrong habit. From the other side, if you want to go in the good way, take good habits. Get used. You choose the good way and you do it again and again and again till it becomes a habit. And then it will stay with you forever. From the other side, what do? If I have bad habits, whoa, that's it. I have to be killed. How am I going to go through Rosh Hashanah? This is Chodesh Elul. We have these beautiful months. Ani ledodi v'dodi ledi. I am to God, and God is to me. God tells us this month, there's nothing impossible. Even if you have the worst habits in the world, now is the time to change. Now, only at this point of time in the year, you can change everything. This is why we have the parashat now. So we learned an unbelievable lesson. Habit. Oh, I was born like this. Oh, what can I do? You can. You can always use the talent, the nature that God gave you for the best. But if you are the one who is changing, if you are the one who takes habits, bad habits, that's a big problem. That's a bad way that it's very, very hard to change. This is why we have to learn this parsha and go into it deep and understand that we have the power to change everything. And now we've got superpower to even change bad habits. So let's show God that we care, that we love, and let's the time to get rid of bad habits and buy and purchase good habits. All the best. A guten Woch, a guten Woch, a season Woch, a sweet week with all the best of the world.